So thank you, Mayor Pavone, for setting aside the time just for us to get to know you and to ask you a few questions. As I mentioned earlier, our part of our mission statement is to love our city. And so this is a great opportunity for our church to hear directly from you. And so the first question I had was, as both a mayor, a business owner, and a resident, what are some of the things that come to mind that you love about the city of Renton?
Well, as the mayor, the thing I love about our city is we're one of the few cities in the outlying region that has a real sense of self. We've got a long history. We've been established as a city for a long time. We've got a unique blend of second, third generation residents, along with people that have just moved here. And the thing I've always felt really proud of, and I think that makes Renton unique, is it's a very inviting city. The city leaders and the people that do a lot of the volunteer work in Renton are really welcoming. So I've always joked around, and people have said, well, is Renton cliquish? And it's like, absolutely, Renton is cliquish. But to be part of the clique, all you have to do is show up. There really isn't a lot more than that. I've watched people move here and get involved in the city on different levels, and before you know it, they're part of the community, and so the community really does support each other, and in a lot of different ways. So I've always liked that. The reason I'm frankly in city government was a way to give back to the community. I've owned businesses, restaurants in Renton since 1985. Wow. And the community has always supported us. And that's served us well. And I've always felt like it's important to not just be a net taker, but actually take the opportunity to give back to the community. And so originally running for city council was a way to give back. Running for mayor was a little different, a little deeper ask, but frankly, I felt like it ties into this question, and that is that we have a really unique city, and at the government level, we've got a very high functioning government. Our administration and the city council members, they work together really well. We carry out the city's business without a lot of infighting. There's not a lot of political banter, and other cities really get stuck, and it takes a long time to get things accomplished because there's so much infighting about, really non-essential issues. So it was important for me to continue that, and with the previous mayor doing such a good job kind of moving that forward, I felt like I could continue that stream of work. So I'm hoping I answered your question there.
Absolutely. No, and I agree with you. I've been here just 3 years as a pastor, and like you said, if you show up, then there's a receptivity to that. And we've certainly seen that here in our community, in particular in the Sunset neighborhood here in the Highlands. So definitely have known that to be true. I just shared a message with our church about how part of our mission statement is to love our city. And so when you think of what that means, you could use another term like bless the city or serve the city. What are some tangible ways that you think both individuals and groups like a church can be a blessing to the neighborhoods that they live in? So this could be, needs in the city or places to serve or just things that you're seeing.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting question. So when the pandemic first hit and COVID became an issue that we knew we were going to have to live with and work our way through, and it became evident that this was a bigger deal than we first anticipated, one of our challenges immediately was, how do we allow all of the volunteers to help? And we've got volunteer coordinators here at the city for the normal day-to-day business, but the outpouring of individuals looking to reach out in the community and help their neighbors was immense. And so we actually had to work on a way to allow that to happen. Some of it's happened really organically. I don't know if you know of the One Feeding program that our legislator Steve Berquist is involved with, but that is done separately and autonomous from what we're doing in the city. And so groups have actually gotten together to try and fill needs within the community. I just got a report today that we have served over 4,000 seniors meals.
Wow.
And that's a big deal. The seniors, part of their life was the Renton Senior Center. So for us to be able to continue that work and provide them that meal and that interaction, even though it's through a car window, was really important. And a lot of that was, we were allowed to do that through the volunteers that continued to help us with some of those projects. So we've got a very unique and caring city, and I'm sure a lot of cities will say that. And in a lot of cases it's true, but in Renton, it's I've really appreciated the willingness for individuals to give outside of themselves. The one thing that I'm going to take the credit for is the Renton Community Foundation. We reached out to them almost immediately and asked them to set up a fund, because I had individuals sending me emails, how do I donate? And so we established a fund through the Renton Community Foundation, and I believe they're up. No, I don't believe. I know that they're over $200,000 right now.
Wow.
And so that was fantastic. You know, as a regional community player, we've done a lot of outreach with the county and the state to make sure that we're doing our part to help our homeless population. I'm sure you've heard that the Renton Red Lion Inn is part of the de-intensification program for some of the individuals that are experiencing homelessness in downtown Seattle. So we've definitely tried to do our part within the city and help the individuals in our city, but also be a regional player in terms of helping different communities within the greater community.
Now, it's really cool to see how a city can also impact a region like that. That's really encouraging.
Yes.
So, you know, none of us could have imagined or prepared for what 2020 was going to look like. And I joked a lot with our church that growing up, 2020 was the future. It was when all the things happened, you know, in sci-fi movies. I'm sure this isn't what you envisioned your first months as mayor would look like. So how can our church and the individuals that make up our church support you and other city leaders in this unique time?
Honestly, keep informed. I felt from the very beginning that the key to getting through this was communication. And so helping to communicate the information, you know, you watched the governor's announcement earlier today, and I think it's important for the information flow to be consistent and timely. One of the things that I asked for our staff to do immediately is we went from once a week, a mayor's newsletter once a week, to once a day, so that we could, the information was changing and updating so quickly that, you know, waiting till next week wasn't timely. So one of the things that your church can do as a community is make sure that the information that you guys are receiving, that it gets out into the community, and things like resources, like we talked about earlier before we started this. This is a challenging, unique and challenging time, and there are individuals in our community that have never in their life had to ask help for food or resources. There are individuals that are for the first time not able to work and support themselves because of the mandates of the government, and they find themselves in need of food and help. So they've never experienced this and don't know where to find it or how to find it. So connecting resources with individuals that need resources, and any outreach that your church can help with that, you know, and helping get the word out where those resources are, frankly. So one of the things that I will, that I'll let you know is that, you know, we have this daily, it's actually, we're doing it 3 times a week now, newsletter, and it's a clearinghouse of information. So the information is stored there and we just add to it. And it's not political in nature at all. It's really strictly an information gathering area for all of the city functions and anything that'll impact a resident in Renton.
That's great. Yeah, I've actually I get that newsletter and scroll down. There is a lot of resources there, but it's really good stuff. And we've I think our church has even been listed on that for our food distribution. So that's been great to see.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and if you know of other resources that aren't on that list, let us know. If any of your individuals in your church know of resources that aren't listed on that, let us know so that we can add that to the list.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, I appreciate you being willing to carve out some time in what is a unique and busy season. And we just want you to know that we are fully supportive of you and the leadership of the city, and that we're going to continue to be actively engaged wherever we can, and that we're praying for you, Mayor Pavone, and really believe this is a unique time for you, but we're confident you don't have to do this alone, and appreciate your leadership in this time.
Well, I really appreciate that your message included the care for the city, and honestly, that's the reason why I agreed to do this, because I think that is an important message that shouldn't get lost in all of this. So thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, thank you, and
Okay.
we'll continue to listen to the news together and kind of walk through this as a city and as individual communities within the city. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.